You're listening to
Tipsy Book Reads.
I'm Jess.
I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Sophia.
And we're kind of not really tipsy.
Too many books on my TBR. Yeah. This podcast is like a book club for the antisocial. We make a drink inspired by the book we read and talk crap about life and fictional characters. We really hope you listen and drink along.
Side effects of listening to this podcast may include reading vivaciously, extreme bouts of laughter, tipsiness from craft cocktails, talking shit about life and fictional characters. Listen at your own risk.
Just a warning, this podcast is explicit. We are all over 21 and there are spoilers. We warned ya.
All right, thank you so much for joining us, Sophia. We're so excited to talk about your stories and your upcoming debut novel. I just have to say, in my life, I need a tiny dragon, desperately.
Yeah, I think everyone needs a little dragon.
I do. And then also the ghoulish new girl vibe thing. When you first pitched it, I was sold. And then immediately as I'm reading, I'm like, this is incredible. I need more. It's so cute.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited for Fairly Dead. I think, or you're talking about Ghoulie Girl, actually.
Yeah.
Fairly Dead. Yeah, Ghoulie Girl is fun, though. It's like a good, little Halloween romance.
Yeah, and perfect timing to read that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So speaking of that, what inspired you to write a spooky cottagecore story?
Well, the publisher reached out to me. It was the same publisher that I wrote Tiny Hearts with. And so they wanted to write a monster anthology. So I was like, I wanted to write ghosts, but he wanted something a little bit different, not just typical ghosts. So I was like, okay, how about a ghoul then? And I don't know, I've always really liked sitcoms and romances. So I was like, what if it was New Girl, but with a ghoul?
It's so cute. I love it.
Kind of the inspiration, and I went from there.
I love it. Becca just explained to me the deep dive of a ghoul versus a ghost, and now it's just running through my head.
Yeah, and to be fair, I only just found out the difference last week, so
I feel there's not that much of a difference, and I kind of made up my own rules. This school, she needs heat to live and needs to be tethered to a house.
Yeah.
So because I was trying to figure out why she needs to rent an apartment in the first place. So I'm okay, she needs to be tethered to a house in order to live.
So cute. I love it.
It's so cute. So with writing short stories, and you have a debut novel coming out next year, how do you approach the two differently? Or do you approach them differently?
Yeah, I feel they're definitely different. Sometimes it's kind of hard to write short stories. I feel it's harder to write them than novels, just because it is such a condensed format. And also I feel some ideas fit, short fiction, and then some are just bigger. You have to tell it in a bigger way through a novel. So kind of honing in your ideas and making sure it is fit for a short story versus a novel is a little bit difficult, actually. But I don't know, the short stories I wrote, those ideas just came to me, and I was like, yeah, those are short stories.
Mm-hmm. They were perfect in that format, absolutely.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm. So what can you tell us about your debut novel?
So my debut novel actually was my thesis project that I wrote in grad school, because I went to a novel writing program. That's where I got my master's degree. So
at UCF, right? You're a UCF alumni?
Yes, UCF I did for undergrad. Are you from Orlando?
Yeah, we are actually. I did my photography degree there, my bachelor's at UCF.
My husband is UCF alum for his undergrad and his master's.
Oh, that's cool, yeah. So I did UCF for undergrad, and then I went to Seton Hill for my master's, and that's where I learned novel writing. So that was my thesis project, and it just got picked up by a publisher over the summer, so it was very exciting. Yeah, I've been working on that one for a long time, so I was excited to get it picked up. But it's a young adult fantasy romance called Kiss Me Tristly, and I'm very excited about it. So hopefully it'll be published in the spring. That's our planned publication date.
That's so exciting.
Yay, I can't wait to read it.
Mm-hmm. So now you have that coming out, and then in December you have the one you mentioned earlier, the Fairly Dead, right? In December?
Fairly Dead. Mm-hmm.
What can you spill about that one?
So Fairly Dead is another short story. It's going to be in an anthology. This one's all fairy tale themed. And so mine was inspired by Snow White, but if she bit into the poisoned apple, and kind of like turned into a zombie.
Incredible.
But it's going to be like a cutesy rom-com. So she wakes from the poison apple and she's undead, and she is planning on marrying the prince, but she doesn't want to marry him undead, so she kind of like goes on this journey to try to like find a cure for herself while wedding planning. So it's like cutesy, but it's got some spooky elements to it too.
I love
That sounds so much fun.
It does. It sounds like right up our alley.
Literally. So kind of in that like realm, I absolutely love Halloween, my shirt, if you can't tell. So it sounds like spooky vibes are kind of your thing as well. Do you have like a favorite Halloween tradition or just like something spooky that you like to do in like the fall season?
I mean, I like PSLs. Like, I always get like a PSL. Actually, I've been drinking decaf ones because I'm pregnant. But yeah, I like to watch like all the Tim Burton movies. Usually we have like a marathon. My boyfriend actually hadn't seen A Nightmare Before Christmas, so I had to show him that one.
Oh my goodness, so good, a classic.
What did he think?
He liked it, yeah. I was so shocked. I'm like, how have you never seen this movie? I've
Right?
watched it like 1,000 times at this point.
Yeah,
Right?
every year.
Every year during this time and Christmas.
during. Yep. So do you think it's a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie?
I feel like it's both.
Yeah.
You have to watch it at both seasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Us too. That's what we think too. Okay, so every author that comes on here, and every time we do some sort of Q&A, we have a question that is hard hitting. It is so important. It is like a make it or break it question. What is your favorite soup?
My favorite soup? I feel like I'm basic. I just like tomato soup, actually. Like grilled cheese and tomato soup is like such a comfort food for me. And it's funny because on my first trimester when I was like really sick, I ate that a lot actually because it was like easy on the stomach.
Yeah. That's
Oh my gosh,
you can't
I
go
love
wrong
it.
with a tomato soup.
Honestly, sometimes just a classic soup. And we'll have to send you some soup recipe because like soup postpartum just like hits different.
Yeah.
I personally, and together we both made so much soup for her postpartum that
Yeah.
it was like we've got all the recipes saved.
Yes, some of the best, like, just, I don't know, healing soups. And also, like, with it just being soup season now, just perfect.
It's good to freeze too.
Yes, I have those, like, soup cube things.
Oh yeah.
They're the best.
Oh my gosh.
So we didn't obviously make a drink for this episode, nor your books, but when we were reading, because we both read the short stories, and the one in particular, the Ghoulie Girl, we absolutely were dying laughing at the Jungle Juice.
Yeah, so
reference.
if we were going to make a cocktail for, like, this
It would
episode,
be
it would totally be some sort of jungle juice.
Jungle juice.
Because is that not just, like, college, and that just, like, sums up their, like, whole, like, frat boy situation.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. Just,
Yeah, that actually works perfect. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, we do. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We've got your back on that.
oh my gosh, too
Yeah.
fun.
So is there anything you would like to share about anything upcoming? I know we already talked a little bit about what you have in store, but or anything you want to plug or questions for us? Yeah.
Yeah, so I have Kiss Me Tristly coming out, which is my young adult debut novel. And that one is, I've been pitching it as like Sailor Moon meets The Bachelor. So it's basically, my main character is a fashion influencer with mind control. And she loses her fame and then attempts to gain it back by joining a reality show for people with like extraordinary abilities. So yeah, that's what's coming out soon. Her best friend on the show ends up being a villain, with like, she's got like poison ivy vibes, like she like can grow poisonous plants. And then another one, she turns invisible when she gets anxious. So I thought that was like a cute little thing.
I love that.
Thanks. So yeah, that's all I have going on right now. Just that book's coming out and then the short story in December.
Good
Oh, that's
deal.
amazing.
Where can people find you on social media?
So it's at Sophia Desensi pretty much across all platforms on TikTok, Instagram, Threads.
That makes it so easy.
Awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm lucky enough that I have like a unique last name, so it wasn't taken anywhere.
Yeah,
good.
that's true. And then to buy any of your short stories in your upcoming book, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and anywhere else you recommend picking up those books?
Yes, so they're available online everywhere. You can also find them in Orlando at Joybird Books. They usually carry copies there too. So yeah, I really like that bookstore. So if you want to go in, they should have some copies still available.
Oh,
Good
awesome.
deal.
I love that bookstore too. We'll have to stop by. But thank you so much for being on our podcast and taking the time out of your day to listen to our silly questions. We absolutely loved your short stories and can't wait for your debut novel.
I cannot wait to read it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So
thank you for having me.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
you're
of
so
course.
welcome. Anytime, seriously.
Yeah.
When your next debut come out.
Yes, once we read that, we can't wait to like delve into it more.
So you've been listening to
Tipsy Book Reads.
Bye.
Bye.